Hello, viewers. Welcome back to another Butt Mouth podcast. I am Grayson Owens from Gray-Mitch Productions, and this is Cam Murillo, also from Gray-Mitch Productions. So, what are we talking about today?
I think we should talk about rage games.
Rage games.
Rage games.
That's an interesting topic.
It is. I like the topic because I recently just finished a couple of rage games. It's kind of a rage series, actually.
Yeah?
And it's an older one. I played for my PlayStation 2. Yes, I still have that thingy at home. I still use it quite frequently.
That piece of outdated technology, but continue.
Fossil of a game system. Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper.
One of the classic PlayStation games. And I gotta tell you, the third game, I really like the third game.
Yeah.
I like the whole series. I think it's very fun. The third game, in my opinion, is the best one. I haven't played the fourth one.
Right.
I've heard it's not that good, so I kind of strayed away from it, but I'm okay with that. Third game is great. The first and second one, rage meter through the roof. Through the friggin' roof.
Through the roof. Now, I haven't played many rage games because, to be honest, I rage really bad. If I were to do stuff like that, I would rage super bad. I would be throwing the mouse. I'd be throwing the controller. I'd be freaking breaking the TV. It's bad. It's really bad. But people like to play those rage games, and I don't understand. I don't understand why people play rage games. I really don't. Because we were actually just discussing this before we started this podcast, that we saw, we all know, famous YouTuber, and does a lot of great work, Markiplier. Shout out to Markiplier if he sees this. Is that, he played Getting Over It with Ben Foddy. He played Pogo Stuck.
I Am Bread.
I Am Bread. So many of these games are rage games, and he in particular is somebody that...
Super Mario Maker,
yeah. He in particular is somebody that is not good at rage games.
No offense, Mark.
No offense. I mean, if you are watching this, it's very unlikely you would be, but if you are, he's not... I mean, he's good at the game. I mean, he's a professional gamer.
He gets them done.
But he's not... He doesn't handle the situations well, and it's just... It makes me think, how do people, just actively just want to play rage games like that? Seeing him play Getting Over It was... I mean, it was funny because, his reactions are funny. But, when he gets really, really mad, it doesn't really seem funny anymore. It just seems like, you almost feel really bad for him. And for all people that play rage games like that, you almost feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Because they're purposely going through it with one goal, is to beat the game, when they just have so much failure that happens. It's really, it's kind of, sometimes it's hard to watch. But yeah.
I think from that standpoint, I try to put myself in a scenario where I would be playing these games. All the aforementioned games, I don't ever want to play. I have no desire in playing these games, just from the reactions that I've seen and the amount of rage that comes with it.
Right.
It cannot be healthy for you.
No, it can't be. It can't be. I would want to just play Getting Over It, and I would play those games because I would want to try and play those games because it's a challenge. But as soon as I get angry, I would just stop, because it's just, video games aren't, in my mind, I play Madden. I played the Madden series since the mid to late early 2000s, you know what I mean? I play Fallout 4. I play Skyrim. I played all those, really traditional PS3, PS4, and on games, and they're not really stressful. And in my mind, games shouldn't be stressful. Games should be kind of like something that you do for fun, something to kill time, something to like. It's 10:30 at night, and you're bored, and you've watched your shows, and you've watched everything, and you play for 2 hours and just zone out and have fun. It's playing a rage game like that. It just doesn't seem like it's fun. I don't know. What do you think? Do you have more to add on that, or? Because to me, it just feels like it's just added stress in a person's life that you really don't need.
It definitely is. It's there. It's all dependent on. Well, it's dependent on the game itself, kind of the reward for getting through it and beating the game. Like there are some games you get through it, you get through all the rage that the game brings, and you beat it.
Right.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels great. Like, for example, the Sly games, Sly 2 in particular. It's fun. A lot of the levels I play in that game, it's a lot of fun. The story is great. I love the characters. Some of the missions are just, I want to tear my hair out. I get so freaking angry. And then I beat it, and I just take this big breath of air. Sometimes it feels great, and sometimes I'm like, that was not worth the stress.
Right. It was, yeah. So that's definitely an interesting concept, to think about, because it's just like, is now just like expanding off of your ideas. Like, sometimes is the stress even worth it? Sometimes people going into a game, at least for me, when you play, there's so many factors. I feel like if the game is worth your time to play, if a game is, if it's fun, first obviously, and if it has that rage factor, and if it does have that rage factor, then is it worth the stress? Getting past that boss that's annoying, or getting past, that particular, like for Fallout's sake, that particular group of, or for Skyrim's sake, this particular group of bandits that it's just giving you a hard time, and you need to progress through the level in order to get to the very end of the dungeon or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's what is if it's worth the stress.
I also find
it's dependent on the game and the developers and everything.
I find I'm able to control my rage a lot better when I'm playing with others. When I'm playing by myself, like there's no cap,
right?
No restraints,
right?
I get a little bit irked. I'm like,
right, absolutely, and I feel like that's a very interesting concept, because you don't want to, as an individual, as a person, you don't want to show your true self.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to ever get to that point for others to see. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like with playing with other people, I totally agree. I don't get angry when I play with other people too. If anything, I get a little more competitive because I'm playing with other people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that my outcome was always going to be angry. I don't ever get angry because. Also, another thing too, when I play with people like Cam or with my other friends, we usually always end up making a joke about it. So we always laugh at it, and so it's the exact opposite of rage. It's very interesting. Just the human mind is a very interesting thing.
Very complex machine.
It's very complex because individually you get angry over a certain level, but when you're with a friend and you keep losing, you just start cracking jokes about it, and you have a really good laugh over it. And then it's funny because when you're the most calm and you crack those jokes and all that stuff, you actually end up getting through the level. You actually ended up beating it. It's a very interesting thing that I think I'm really glad we discussed this, because it's a very interesting topic to talk about.
Yep.